Well, hello there, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a really fascinating new analysis that, honestly, challenges almost everything we've been told about heart disease and cholesterol over the years. If you've spent the last few decades diligently avoiding butter or, stressing out over your lab numbers, this one is absolutely for you. We're going to take this step by step and separate the biological facts from the fiction.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the water pipe myth. Second, arteries are not pipes. Third, beyond the fat theory. And finally, rethinking your health tools.
All right, let's jump right into part one, the water pipe myth and the intuitive story we've been told for so long.
It really all boils down to this one question we've heard from well-meaning doctors for decades. Does eating fat actually clog your arteries, just like grease in a pipe? I mean, think about it. When you pour bacon grease down the kitchen sink, it cools, it hardens, and it builds up, right? So it makes total sense. It's perfectly reasonable that we would apply that exact same logic to our own bodies. But the source material we're looking at today contrasts this widely accepted belief with actual biological reality. The intuitive plumbing logic tells us that animal fat causes high lipids, which act kind of like sludge, just slowly coating our pipes until, boom, a heart attack happens. But the biological reality tells a completely different story. Our arteries are absolutely nothing like those inanimate copper or PVC pipes sitting under the sink.
Which brings us to Section 2, Arteries are not pipes. We're looking at living tissue versus inanimate objects. By definition, an artery is a living, dynamic biological tissue. It breathes, it expands, it heals, and it reacts to its environment. Because our arteries are literally alive, the source we're exploring argues that comparing them to passive, dead plumbing is just scientifically flawed right out of the gate.
In fact, this is summarized perfectly in a direct quote from the analysis. They state, "This uniqueness dooms the taken-for-granted logic chain to be untenable from the start." In plainer English, because we've treated a living, dynamic organ system as if it were just passive household plumbing, we've entirely missed how heart disease actually happens.
So let's move on to Section 3, Beyond the Fat Theory, and finding the real pathogenic factors.
The analysis strongly encourages us to step away from this decades-old fear of animal fat. Instead, the focus shifts toward monitoring our true metabolic markers and our overall cellular health. According to the source, the real culprits are rooted in chronic inflammation and how our bodies process sugars. It's really all about how the living tissue of the artery gets irritated and damaged in the first place, rather than just getting coated in grease.
And that leaves us right into our final section, Part 4, Rethinking Your Health Tools and Exploring New Metrics for Metabolic Health.
Let's take a look at the actual tools the source recommends we use instead. First up are continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs, which literally let you see how food is affecting your blood sugar in real time. Second, blood ketone testing kits. These act kind of like a fuel gauge to let you see if your body is efficiently burning fat. Third, they highlight essential electrolytes, specifically magnesium, to help support your heart rhythm. And finally, using simple sugar alternatives, like allulose, to help protect your blood vessels from those massive sugar spikes.
The big takeaway here is that tracking your real-time blood sugar and ketones provides a far more accurate picture of your metabolic health than that outdated plumbing myth ever could. The source argues that these modern tools empower us. They put the control firmly back in your hands, letting you actually monitor your own metabolism, rather than just stressing out over old dietary rules.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought today. For all these decades, have we been fighting the wrong enemy? I invite you to just reflect on the health paradigms you've followed throughout your life. Remember, it is truly never too late to learn, adjust, and take charge of your well-being. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to your health and your continued curiosity.